offshore waters in Northeast Florida are renowned for their premier fishing and scuba diving opportunities. Area visitors travel from far and wide for a diverse offshore experience, and the coastline of St. Johns County does not disappoint. What they may be surprised to learn, though, is that the reefs, enjoyed by so many, are actually the result of tireless efforts by those dedicated to creation, conservation, and marine awareness. It's a series and organization that's involved heavily in marine conservation. Some of our focuses are creating marine habitat, building what we call artificial reefs out of recycled materials, and then also doing other marine conservation efforts like marine cleanups, where we'll send divers down and we'll actually remove entanglement hazards and debris from reefs themselves. And another big component of what we do is outreach and education. We want to share with the world our important marine habitats offshore and get people excited to go experience them, and then also to have a conservation mindset as well.
A lot of tourists come here for the obvious, the history behind the city. So you can walk the streets of St. George Street, hit up some of the local restaurants. There's all kinds of stuff to do downtown, but there's also stuff to do once you venture out of that area. There's the beautiful beaches, there's some state parks around here, and there's the amazing offshore opportunities, especially scuba diving, even fishing. There's all kinds of stuff that St. Augustine as a whole offers for anything you're interested in doing while you're here.
So offshore Northeast Florida, we have some natural reef systems, but it's not like what you would think of as like a typical coral reef, say further down south. What we have here naturally is exposed areas of rocks, usually in the form of ledges. And those exposed areas of rock do become reefs. They do have coral and sponges that grow on them and then do look somewhat similar to what you may think of as a traditional reef. However, we don't have an abundance of those natural structures offshore. So years ago, an artificial reef program was initiated. Well, the process has been much more fine-tuned here lately. And when we're involved in these projects, we specifically use recyclable materials. And so it's kind of neat. We can go out and strategically pick a location. The location's picked on many variables, from where we think it might serve the environment the best to also where it will serve the user groups as well, from the fishermen and scuba divers. We want to build these offshore reefs to create offshore destinations. We want people to utilize them. So that's an important factor where these reefs go. Then on top of that, we select the material appropriately, and like I said, we like to use recycled materials. So we basically can use clean concrete or clean metal. And by simply placing something like a concrete structure underwater, basically gives Mother Nature the opportunity to create an underwater ocean habitat that benefits the ocean environment and then creates an offshore recreational destination for user groups like fishermen and scuba diver.
On some of the shorter trips, the 4-hour and 6-hour trips, we're going to be fishing mostly artificial reefs, which we're fortunate to have some. We could use more. But we have a good reef system off here. We don't have a lot of natural habitat within the first 20 miles or so. So on those shorter trips, those artificial reefs are very important. You're producing your own little ecosystem down there. Once it gets there, the stuff starts growing on it, and the bait shows up almost immediately. And we all know what happens when little fish shows up, big fish show up to eat them.
It's been a work in progress over the years, sinking a bunch of material to create artificial reefs, but it's been really cool to be a part of the process. The depth is about 60-70 feet, so it's really safe and comfortable especially for new divers, but there's a lot to look at, and it's neat to go to the different spots and see the growth versus the sites that have been sunk 5 years ago versus last year. So you can kind of, just as an observationist, see the difference in the fish and the coral life that grows over the course of the years.
We hope you enjoy your visit to the First Coast and the natural bounty that awaits you. If you're interested in learning more about offshore recreational opportunities in St. Augustine and Ponte Vedra, please visit floridahistoriccoast.com.